The final night of the Westmont stop of the 2025 Swimming World Cup was absolutely ridiculous because we saw another 2 world records go down. First, in a thrilling battle where 2 swimmers went under the old mark, and then a record that completely surprised me. First, we had the women's 200 backstroke, an event that is always going to be electric because we get to see Regan Smith and Kaylee McKeown go head to head, 2 of the fastest backstroke swimmers of all time. Smith enters as the world record holder in this event with a time of 158.04 from last year's short course world championships, and she's clearly in great form at this meet because she just tied her own world record in the 100 backstroke the night before. But McKeown did get the win over Smith in this event last week, and in doing so she set a new personal best, which is impressive because she used to own this world record before Smith broke it last year. So as always with these two, it looks like it could be either one of them for the win. Off of the start, McKeown actually grabbed the early lead and managed to hold it through the first 50 meters, with Smith just a tenth behind her. Over the next 25 meters, Smith closed the gap a bit, but right after that, McKeown extended it a little more to keep a narrow lead at the halfway mark. At 125 meters, McKeown turns under world record pace for the first time since the very first 25, and at the 150 meter turn, she extends her lead under that pace. 25 meters later, and Regan Smith cuts McKeown's lead in half as both of these swimmers start their sprint to the finish. Smith pulls even off of the turn as these two legends are now stroke for stroke at the very end until Kaylee McKeown gets the win and the world record. 157.87 to 157.91, a difference of just 4/100ths of a second, as not only do both of these swimmers break the old world record, but they're also the first 2 swimmers ever to break 158. That was an absolutely astounding swim out of Kaylee McKeown, not only to break that record and that barrier, but to go up against the reigning world record holder and deny her from touching first on any wall the entire race. And of course, that is an insane performance out of Regan Smith as well, as she resets her own American record in the event and stays right with McKeown at the very end, keeping it to a difference of a mere 4/100ths. Looking at the splits, we can see that McKeown is faster through the first 3 50s, with the biggest difference coming on that third 50. But then on the fourth 50, it's Smith with a pretty big comeback, outsplitting McKeown by almost 4/10ths to make the end result as close as it was. That was the first world record of the night, but there was one more after this. This time, it was the women's 100 freestyle, where everyone expected another titanic clash between Kate Douglas and Mollie O'Callaghan. Douglas won this event during the first stop, but O'Callaghan is coming off of setting a world record in the 200 freestyle the night before, so this could be another explosive matchup. However, Douglas did her best to erase all doubt as soon as possible, as she blasted out to a monster lead right away, almost 4/10ths by 25 meters and under world record pace. At the 50, she had a body length on the field and increased her distance under world record pace. Did she have the firepower to hang on? With 25 meters to go, the world record line had made up some ground, but Douglas was still under that pace. The crowd was cheering her on down the final stretch as she touches in a 50.19, a new world record. That swim clips the old standard of 50.25 set by Australia's Kate Campbell back in 2017, a swim that has really stood the test of time, even managing to withstand Gretchen Walsh during last year's short course world championships, but now Douglas has finally taken it down. Douglas actually entered this meet with the best time of 50.73, a swim that at the time made her the 6th fastest performer of all time, so that is a huge drop to go all the way up to first. Looking at the splits between Kate and Kate, we can see that opening speed from Douglas, as she was out 23.88 to 24.21. Campbell did close faster, 26.04 to 26.31, but it wasn't quite enough as Douglas holds on by 6/100ths. The craziest thing to me is that Kate Douglas now owns the world records in both the 200 breaststroke and the 100 freestyle. That is just an absolutely insane event combination to have. I know that we have seen sprint freestylers go over to short course breaststroke before, where they can put their power to great use, but that's normally in the 100, not the 200, and Douglas is primarily a 200 breaststroker going over to to the 100 freestyle, something that you don't see nearly as often. Kate Douglas continues to be a crazy versatile swimmer, just dominating over a weird range of disciplines, and it's always very impressive to watch. I thought that maybe she would be very fast in the 100 freestyle, but the world record seemed a little further off, but I was clearly very wrong. With those swims, the second stop of the 2025 Swimming World Cup is officially concluded with just one stop to go. So what events are you most looking forward to during that final stop in Toronto? Let me know down below.